Hi guys, it's ALCHEMY. How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. I hope. Don't know why I did silly voice, but I did. Today I'm here to talk to you about the 3 newest perfumes from BeauFort London. I was going to say new, but they're not actually new. They came out in 2024, but they're definitely the most new releases that they've done. Much to my knowledge, as much as my knowledge will allow me to know, basically. So firstly, I want to dedicate this video to a small little person that I know who lives way up in Sheffield. If you're watching this video, Manny, this one's for you. And the reason I'm dedicating this video to you is I think this is probably one of your top 3 brands ever, from what I know of you. So I don't know if you've smelled these, probably you have, because you know so much more than I do. So this video is for you. I hope you and Mum are doing well, and I'll see you soon. So let's quickly talk about BeauFort London. I only own one of their fragrances, and I smelled this new line recently. It's the 3rd collection they've released. The first line was called Come Hell or High Water, and there were 5 perfumes. They came straight out of the gate with this super strong signature bold style, which was shocking and amazing. Downright unwearable some of the time, but there are people that love them. The second collection came out, it was called Revenants, and this is what I want to talk about because halfway through the Revenants releases, things started to get a little bit lost for me. I feel like BeauFort lost their way a little bit. From Terror and Magnificence, I was a little bit iffy. Then Acracia came out and it sounded amazing on paper, but when I tried it on my skin, it just didn't deliver what it promised. And then the last one in that collection was called Absent Presence, and it basically just smelled like a slightly smoky sandalwood. On the plus side, I feel like BeauFort London have got some of their mojo back. When I smelled these 3 perfumes, I said, maybe they've got something back. Maybe they're coming back again. Maybe they didn't even know that they weren't back or weren't here, because I certainly felt it. I don't know if any BeauFort London fans out there did, but I certainly did. Anyway, this new collection so far only has 3 fragrances in it. I guess they're probably going to add 2 more since the other 2 had 5 and there's only 3 now. And the name of it is Force Majeure, which literally translated means major force. It's become, this term was kind of coined in Napoleon times, and now after centuries, it's become a whole thing. It can be likened, or it can be used in many different situations. It can be talked about in terrorist attacks or unexpected events, or even there's law involved in certain parts of it. Pertaining to this collection, and now that I've smelled them and read about them, I'm going to interpret it to mean it's about the forces of nature, because this collection is about pretty much the sea and rugged landscapes and ships, which is a slight recurring theme with BeauFort. They really like that sea, water, battles, ships, history type thing. But this time it's gone a little bit naturalistic. So I'm going to talk about all 3 of them. Not full in-depth review, but I will talk about them so you can get an idea. And the perfumer behind all 3 of these is Ewan McCall, who is actually a really cool perfumer. I'm pretty sure owns a brand called Joram Studios, which is a Scottish brand. I'm sure he's the owner of that brand, and I have tried them, and some of them were really unique. So I feel like he's a good fit for the BeauFort brand. Anyway, let's talk about the first one. I'm gonna just grab them randomly. Let's see what it is. So the first one is called Cape Wrath, and Cape Wrath is a real place. It's a place on the very, very northern tip of the UK. It's in Scotland. I wonder if that's why Ewan McCall is the perfumer, because he's Scottish. I don't know. Anyway, this is about the rugged landscape of Cape Wrath. It's a point of the landscape where ships are able to navigate around the British Isles because it's so northern, but it's also a very dangerous place, treacherous waters, and it's claimed the lives of many ships and sailors, etc., etc. Such a cool name, and it's the real name of the place. I mean, it's already got its own warning, right? Don't go there. It's Cape Wrath. Just go to, you know, Cape Rainbow. Go there. That might be much more safe for you. So it says, named after the rugged area of coastline on the most northwesterly tip of Britain, Cape Wrath pulls inspiration from this wild, treacherous seascape. The remote landmark, named after the old Norse word for turning point, has for centuries been used by sailors to safely navigate the coast of Britain, yet its treacherous waters have claimed countless vessels. Basically what I just said in different words. So the top notes are pink pepper, elemi, galbanum, and angelica root. The heart notes are frankincense, mastic, and geranium. Lots of green resins already listed. When I smelled this before looking at the notes, and I was like, oh, this is a resinous green perfume. You have elemi, galbanum, frankincense, and mastic. 4 green resins already. And the base notes are ambergris, vetiver, ambrette, which is also known as muskmallow. Perfumers use it in place of animalic musks. It's a seed. And then you have seaweed and oak moss absolute. Also, just to mention, they've revamped the bottles for this one. Usually they're black bottles. I think they started out clear, then they rebranded themselves where they were all black, and then now these bottles are super cool. I haven't seen one in person, but the photography and the images I've seen, they're clear bottles and they look kind of like they're cracked, like the glass is cracking. Really cool, typical cool BeauFort style. So let's smell Cape Wrath. I tried it on my skin this morning. I've tried it previously as well. I'm gonna put some here. Oh, it's super cool. So, as far as green perfumes go, BeauFort have already got a stellar green perfume. If you haven't tried it, it's called Fathom 5. It's pushing the green boundary right to the edge. It's literally like rolling in a meadow, lilies, cut grass. It's like the ultimate green fragrance for me, and this is green in a whole different way because this is resinous green, where that one was floral aquatic green. I can smell elemi here, and I'm discovering that elemi resin, because I've smelled it on its own as well, it's really, really beautiful. It's one of the lightest resins that you can get. A lot of resins lean much more dark or ambery or kind of powdery. Elemi is like the vibrant, bouncy sister of all the resins. It's got some lemony facets, it's a little bit foresty, and it sticks out a mile here in the opening. I really like this. The frankincense is really nice in it as well. Frankincense is coniferous, it's piney, it has limey facets. So elemi and frankincense are like a match made in heaven. They're both light resins that have citrusy and green facets, so works well. Mastic is a weird one. It is another green resin though, and it's more of like a planty green resin, and galbanum of course is very vegetal. I don't really smell those two as much, but the other two are big players here. It's gently aquatic as well. It's not like a normal typical cologne type thing. It doesn't feel rugged to me or scary or depths of the ocean or anything like that. It's actually quite friendly, but it still feels like a BeauFort perfume. What's missing from this, which is usually the BeauFort signature, is the smokiness. That is their stamp, that is their style, and it feels weird to smell a BeauFort perfume, apart from Fathom 5, that doesn't really have anything smoky to speak of. It's basically a green parade because you have seaweed as well, and you have oak moss here, and then you have ambergris. I don't really feel ambergris here. The mossiness is kind of behind, and when this developed on me, it went kind of slightly drier and lost a bit of its vibrancy, but still retained greenery the whole way through. So I like it. It's like Fathom 5's kind of lighter, friendlier sister, but still with the BeauFort stamp. It's really wearable, and the reason I said that BeauFort lost their way wasn't because they did something like this. This is future. I thought they'd lost their way before, right? It's still not BeauFort doing their darkness, but it's still really cool. The Acracia and Absent Presence were still really BeauFort in terms of the smoky darkness, but they just fell really flat. This is like a new direction, a new line, still really cool though. So let's talk about the next one. So the next one is called The Grudge, and let's not confuse that with the horror Japanese film with that awful girl that creeps across the floor like a crazy person. Oh my gosh, that is just really bad. So it's called The Grudge, and this one's really all about ambergris. So as you can see, the theme of this collection is all surrounding the sea and landscapes adjacent to the sea. So that's why when it's called Force Majeure, I'm talking about the forces of nature here. So it's called The Grudge. I'm going to spray it, and then I'll read you their little blurb and their notes. So their website says, the Grudge, inspired by the white gold that appears occasionally on Scottish beaches. Again, we're in Scotland. And the alchemy, whoa, it just hit me. The alchemy of time and tide. The Grudge finds beauty in the unexpected. The journey of ambergris from the craw of the sperm whale. I'm sure ambergris comes out the other end of the sperm whale. I think it comes out of both ends, actually. The journey of ambergris from the craw of the sperm whale, rolled on the tide, retrieved from a beach and tinctured into a bottle. A metaphor for the alchemy of presence. Such an amazing description. So the top notes are wormwood. If you don't know what that is also known as Artemisia in the fragrance world. It's kind of like an absinthe type note. Then you have frankincense again and copal. Copal is another incense. It's actually a Mexican incense. It's quite a dense one. I've smelled it before. It's great. The heart notes are tea, seaweed, and calamus. Calamus, if you don't know, I like to explain the weird ones because some people might be saying, like, what the hell is calamus? Calamus is actually a root. It's a root of a plant, kind of in the same way that iris, like the orris root. So it's a powdery, but it's a lot more earthy than iris. And then the base notes are ambergris, tobacco, oud, musk, oak moss, and labdanum as absolute. So this one is fantastic. To me, it's the one I like the smell of the most out of the three, but it's not the one I would wear. The next one is the one that I would wear the most. And this one I like the most because it gave me a emotional response. So I took a solo trip to Glass, shall we say. I've actually been there twice, but the first time I went by myself for 5 days, and it was a hot July, and I was wandering around the old town just with no aim or anything, any plan really. But occasionally what happens with these tiny alleyways in Grass is it's a hot day and you can go past like an open old doorway or an even smaller alleyway and you might get a cold gust of wind and it smells like old stone and it smells ancient, and it was just such a wonderful smell that actually stopped me in my tracks quite a few times. And this perfume has something like that about it. It feels mineral in a kind of stony way. I wouldn't say that it smells any kind of incense or resinous type smell here, even though it's got multiple things happening in the kind of resin department. But what I can really smell here is ambergris. And there are so many perfumes out there that list ambergris as a note when really it's not a prevailing note. It's more maybe a fixative, or I guess some people list it because it's like ambergris, we have this super precious material in our perfume. Most of the time it's probably not even real. Maybe it's not real here either, because I think if it was, it might be much more expensive than £125. But if whatever it is, ambergris accord, whatever it is, I can smell it here. And ambergris, if you've never smelled it, oh, tricky one, because there's two kinds. You have black ambergris and you have white. Black ambergris is the much more raw, less sun scorched, less thyme, stickier type ambergris. That's the one that I have smelled in person in its raw form. And then white gold, which they refer to, is the much more precious type of ambergris. It's much softer, it has vanillic tones, but ultimately it's aquatic and a little bit zoo-like. And I can really feel it here. It's giving like a fuzzy texture to the perfume. There is some vibrancy here, but it's almost nose tingly, and I can feel the whale. This just sounds weird, but it's true. And this kind of stony texture. This one is really, really cool. It's a love letter to ambergris, and I'm glad that I can actually smell it in the perfume. How many times, guys, have you smelled a perfume where it lists this and that and this and that, and then you smell it and you say, oh, it just smells like vanilla, you know? That frustrates me. So thank you, BeauFort, for actually delivering something to your theme. I can feel it. It smells a little bit peppery here, and the aquaticness again is gentle. I feel like BeauFort have made this line with aquatic in mind, but they haven't used cologne. And cologne is my death. I cannot stand that molecule. So many brands will just make an aquatic and just shove loads of cologne in. And this is, it's a much more finessed take on an aquatic perfume, which happens to be my least favorite category of perfume. So bravo to BeauFort for coming back with this. Super, super cool. I love it. I'm gonna put a little bit on my arm. I may come back to it at the end of the video, but it's got like a foresty kind of element going on as well. I guess it does have a little bit of church, you know, when it's a little bit more in skin. Maybe it's that copal, I don't know. This is a cool concoction. Try it out if you can. So now we're gonna move on to the final one, which is the one that I feel like is the most wearable and it's my favorite. So let's do it. This one is awesome. Okay, so the third one is called Pyroclasm. I love the name, such a cool name. And Pyroclasm means broken by fire. So this one says, inspired by the massive natural forces that created the basalt rock formations of the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. Pyroclasm imagines a leap across the sea to the shipyards of the Clyde, where similar human forces were employed in the manufacture of iron ships. BeauFort has an obsession with ships and things like that, and this is a fantastic perfume. Pyroclasm explores the idea of the intense heat and pressure needed to create the basalt rivets of this natural phenomenon and the similar forces involved in the fastening of the hulls of vessels. Wow. So it's like, I was going to say diametrical opposites. It's not, it's in tandem. It's two double meanings. It's the forces of nature and it's also the force that's needed to build an entire vessel. So this is cool. Let me read you the notes. The top notes are rust, black pepper, saffron and grapefruit. The heart notes are frankincense, that ALCHEMY resin again, which I just explained to you guys, and mineral notes. The base notes are ambergris, cade. If you don't know what cade is, it's part of the juniper family and it's kind of like juniper's smokier cousin. It's quite an intensely smoky woody note. Then you have sandalwood, vetiver, styrax, which is also known as benzoin. It's a light resin, labdanum and atlas cedarwood. This one is super cool. This is so great. I feel like if you're gonna try out BeauFort perfumes for the first time and you wanna delve into the smoky, like this does have that BeauFort smokiness, but it's subdued and it lets so many other things shine here. The best part about this perfume for me is the mineral element in two different places. First of all, you have a definite metallicness to this perfume and it's actually pretty. It gives such a nice lightness. It's like this little tang of shiny metal, which almost feels floral to me. I really like it. And then you have the other sort of mineral side as well, which is that gently kind of stony feel, but the metallic overtakes. So this goes towards more the shipyard to me than the sea part of it. And I just like it. There's also something powdery here. I mean, there is benzoin in here, but it's not really ambery as such. Benzoin is part of amber most of the time. And it feels incensey in a total different way to the others. This feels like, to me, incense stick. It feels like far away, maybe in this shipyard, someone is in their little, I don't know, what do they live in shipyards? They probably don't live in the shipyard. They probably travel to the shipyard to go to work and then go home. But imagine if they lived there and they were in a tent and somebody just was reading a book at night and they had a little incense burning in their tent. I love perfumes that have that far away incense feel. I love them with the close up incense feel too, but I love it when there's just that wisp of incense smoke that kind of threads its way through the composition of a perfume. And this somehow has that. This is pretty, even though it's dark. You can have pretty and dark at the same time, but BeauFort are not known for pretty. They don't really do pretty. That's not their thing. That's not their vibe. That is not their you know, it's not their mission statement, shall we say. But this is lovely, and this is definitely my favorite of the three. I want to actually give this a full wearing when it gets to autumn, and definitely try them out. I'm going to leave it there. It's kind of like a touch on mini first impressions, kind of second impressions, because I have tried them on my skin multiple times, but I wanted just to give you an idea of these new BeauFort perfumes. It's like they've moved in a slightly new direction. They just shifted a tiny bit to the right, but still kept their BeauFort weirdness, which I love. So I'm gonna leave the video there. Pyroclasm is so cool. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. I hope you've been well. I'm ALCHEMY, trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. I will see you guys soon. Goodbye.